Welcome to the Two Lonely Boys in a Canoe podcast. I am Chris Evans.
A.K.A. Gravel Shits.
Gravel Shits. Yeah. And my cohort.
Gorgeous George.
Gorgeous George, a.k.a. Trevor Ahlstrom.
What the fuck is up, Marie Calendars?
What's up, Denny's? What's up?
What's up, Dairy Mart?
All right, folks. We're glad to be with you today.
Whoop, whoop.
Been a long day at work. We're here, and Trevor's finishing out his week. I got a couple more days, but yeah, man, it's good to be here.
Yeah.
How was your day, Trevor?
So it was a day.
A day like every other day, until the day was different.
2 days gonna be the day till I get next to you. No, don't do that.
I got a pocket full of sunshine. Your day is gonna be full of crappy sunshine. I don't know.
Look, it's been 1 week since you looked at me. 2 since you said you were sorry.
3 weeks since I laughed at you.
No, it was alright. Just another day of rain and grinding saw blades and fixing them.
Yeah. Good job,
And
man.
limping around. Woo!
Pimp with a limp.
Camp with a lamp.
Yeah, my day was pretty good too, man. Another day at work, another dollar in the pocket, you know, and we're moving forward. Yeah, it's good stuff.
Man.
Moving a lot of furniture.
Oh yeah. Moving furniture and moving bills.
Mm-hmm. You know it.
Cash rules everything around me. Get the money.
Dollar bills, y'all.
Shout out Wu-Tang Clan.
All right. So, what do you want to talk about today, Trevor?
Well,
We got a lot of interesting stuff to get to.
we do. I noticed that it is Pacific Islander and Asian Heritage Month, just for
Very
everyone
nice.
to know.
Yes, Pacific Islander. If you don't know,
Polynesians.
we'll be specific about the
The
Pacific.
Pacific, yes. Hey Chris, what do you call a Hawaiian that has a cold?
Spam.
A poly sneezing.
No, that wasn't good.
Blame the internet for that one.
Showing recognition of Polynesian and Pacific Islander Month.
And Asians.
And Asians. Who do you think we should take recognition of?
How about
I'm going to throw one out there.
Go.
Jackie Chan. Yeah, I know he's kind of overplayed, man, but when Chan was in his prime, he was kicking ass, man. He was with Bruce Lee and stuff.
yeah, train under Bruce Lee and those guys?
Crazy. You imagine running into Jackie Chan in his prime? Fuck you up.
Can you imagine when he was young and learning stuff and being in a Bruce Lee movie? Like,
Yeah. Jackie
Damn.
Chan's whole career was built off of him being a crazy stuntman. He did martial arts, and he didn't really speak too much English, but he kept getting put in martial arts movies that were making it to the States, and he was a really great stuntman. That's how he ended up in a lot of Bruce Lee's movies.
and he's really good
He'd get
stuntman.
thrown through walls and all sorts of crazy
Really good
shit.
martial artist too. Like, it's crazy how he can
Punched.
combine. Yeah, no, he was like the WWF of kung fu movies for a minute. The way he could like just throw.
So people forget, man, years ago, people just used to use their bodies like fucking dumbbells.
Yeah.
You know, just throw them
No,
around.
Jackie Chan really did get beat up, especially.
Evel Knievel, man. Evel Knievel, dude.
Oh yeah.
That guy broke every bone in his body multiple times.
Yeah, he did. It's amazing he lived as long as he did.
It's weird he lived as long as he did.
Jackie
He should have been
Chan.
dead years ago.
Jackie
So
Chan,
did
too.
Jackie Chan,
Yeah,
man.
both those
He should have
guys.
died under some sort of weird circumstance on set.
He was supposed to, I guess, on 9/11, he was supposed to do a stunt scene on top of the towers, and they decided to cancel it because he wasn't feeling well.
I don't know about all that.
So they say.
Trevor's speaking 9/11 truth over here.
I figured I'd throw some conspiracy
He's like,
theories
didn't
on.
you know that morning Jackie Chan was supposed to walk a straight rope between the two towers, but he got a cold? What?
He's doing his greatest stunt ever, dodge an airplane that's coming in. Just,
Oh, man. Do you remember that newest Mission Impossible that came out? That fucking, what's his face? Tom Cruise strapped to a plane as it like actually took off. You remember that?
I saw the clip for it, and
he's like dun 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 dun. He's like holding on to the side as the plane leaves the ground.
Yeah, it's crazy that it's actually him strapped side, and he's an old guy now. He's another guy.
How old is he?
He's like, he has to be like 50.
Is he Clooney old? Is George Clooney old?
He's about there. He's like 50. He was doing stuff in the 80s. So, I mean, he did Top Gun. He did Top Gun in the 80s.
Yeah, but
he did other stuff too.
Yeah, he's an 80s actor, but he was a young 80s actor.
Yeah.
How old is he now? Thomas Cruise.
Another stuntman guy. It seems like we're talking about stuntmen today. That's kind of the...
Nope.
Like
Not
the
at all.
Asians. We can go back to Asians and Polynesians.
Well, I threw out Jackie Chan, and then we spiraled into Tom Cruise.
We did spiral on the Tom Cruise.
But you didn't even throw out a Polynesian Asian.
I'll throw one out there.
Way to honor their heritage, bro. It's Heritage Month.
I'll pick Big Izzy, the singer.
I just want to let you guys know that Trevor is being nuts right now. He put down a joint to take a hit of a bowl. He wouldn't pass the joint back. He fucking set it down, picked up his bowl, and now he's walking away to go fucking check on food. This guy's all over the place, folks.
Let me actually check food. Alright, ovens off.
Alright. Enough of your craziness. Sit back down.
I got one. I got somebody.
Ooh.
I want to say...
I'm howling pretty hard over here. Ooh.
Actually, I'll pick Willie K. He was a famous Hawaiian musician that played a lot of Hawaiian slack key guitar, and he even did stuff with Jack Johnson. And if you talk to people from Hawaii, he's huge over there. He was big in like the 80s and 90s. And
little 2 Lonely Boys context here. Trevor has a ton of obscure artists and music just slammed into his brain somehow.
I do.
I have to deal with these random music facts constantly. He just thinks it's cool knowledge, but I just think sometimes he should just shut up. What do you people think?
No, they love it. Whatever.
They can't talk to you. Let's go to caller 1. We don't have any callers yet.
Don't hate me because I'm beautiful, bud. Alright?
Watch, we do get callers one day, and you're just going to be sitting there and people will be calling in.
Talking shit to me about my music?
No, they'll be talking good shit. They'll probably be fucking hyping you up. And then all I have to deal with it, you'll be like, see, Chris, see, people know about my crazy music. And I'll be like, shut up, folks. You guys need to stop talking.
Hey, you want to talk about Iranian flute music right now? And you'll be like...
Here we go. You guys opened up Pandora's music box. You don't have to live with them. I do. Imagine hearing this at 2 in the morning. Hey, Chris, you ever heard of baklava? He's this Czechoslovakian guitar player that existed.
Baklava is a Greek dessert.
No, I know. But damn it, stop busting up my story.
Be better at bullshitting then.
No, not at all. I'm not trying to bullshit. You can't bullshit a bullshitter. You can't make me bullshit more than I bullshit, because I'm already... See? Can't do it. Can't do it.
You're going to bully the bullies, the bullies?
Folks, he's trying to make me give a shit, but I'm not giving a shit right now.
You can count on no hands how many fucks you have to give.
He's the idiot that put the joint down. What kind of idiot puts the joint down? He goes to pick up a bowl, and then... puts the bowl down. He didn't even take a hit.
The guy that's distracted.
He thinks he's distracted. He doesn't even have pussy in his lap. What am I going to do with him if I take him to a strip club?
Have a good time?
Yeah, probably. It'd be fun. Throw slime on the walls. You remember when you were at Toys R Us as a kid? You get that slime stuff?
Yeah.
Just imagine going into a strip club with slime and just being like, no hands, right? Just launching slime at people. They'd be like, what's your problem? You get thrown out immediately. Slime the bodyguard. Security guard.
You'd be like Slimer from fucking Ghostbusters. Just throwing nasty goop at people.
I ain't afraid of no ghost.
Shout out Ghostbusters.
Yeah. Shout out Ghostbusters, shout out Terminator, and shout out Back to the Future while we're hitting all the good ones. Taking all the 80s movies over here.
Fuck yeah.
Fucking 16 Candles. No,
Also, have you seen
16 Candles sucked.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
I've never seen it, but have you seen The Thing?
You just agree. Yeah, no. The Thing? The thing that lives in the bottom of your shoes? No, I've never seen that.
John Carpenter movie.
No.
You haven't?
No, you haven't? No. Oh, you should see it.
You should see it.
See, that's what they all say. And then my brain gets ripped out. Yep, I've heard of it, folks. I'm not going to see any of Trevor's movies.
I have good taste in movies.
He has good taste in movies like he has good taste in women. Punchline. I couldn't think of one.
You know, Chris, I like my women like I like my beer, cold and bitter.
I like my women like I like beach balls. Full of hot air and ready to explode at any time.
I thought you were going to make some joke about sandy vagina, like bounce around and covered in sand or something.
That's probably very true.
Bounce around and covered in sand.
I like women like beach balls, full of hot air and just ready to explode at any point. Yeah. I'm just waiting for shit to hit the fan.
Yeah. Unfortunately,
I'm like, yeah, I knew she was holding down the crazy a little too long. She's been holding back. Look at her go.
She just got a little bit of coke and earned a little meth, and here we go.
That's something that a lot of people don't talk about in relationships in general, is that when you first get together with somebody,
you have to hold down the crazy.
You have to hold down and hold back the crazy for a while. And then you have to unleash on them like no tomorrow, because if they can't accept you at a certain point, then it's not going to work. Yeah. No, but
I've had
I think there's two approaches there. What do you think? The first approach is mine, which is just, here you go. Or you slowly introduce them to your insanity.
The problem is I am, a little out there, and I have to hold the crazy down, so it's...
Insane in the membrane.
Insane in the brain.
Insane in the what? All
right. Shut out.
Just a cool guy doing cool things, just trying to be cool.
Man, cool guys never say shit like that.
Blah, blah, blah. French. Damn it, Hannibal. You live in our minds nonstop.
Because he's hilarious.
He is. What were you going to say, though? So what's the third option? You got your options. I got my options.
I mean, there's
How do you introduce a woman to the crazy?
Usually just by telling her jokes, like, every so often, and then...
making them slowly worse. Yeah. You're like, so two Asians walk into a bar, and they order a drink, and the bartender's extremely polite, doesn't ask anything of them except for them to pay. It's a very nice interaction. They meet two girls and leave the bar. The end, right? Yeah, that's a bar joke.
I have not heard that one.
They have a wonderful time. They pay their tab courteously. They eat
smile.
some peanuts. They leave.
They give them some very good life advice.
Ooh, here's a cool one I just thought of. Man, I am bouncing from subject to subject. Trevor, we are, as you would say, bar kids or alcoholics anonymously being alcoholics sometimes.
Yes, I've also had to go to AA and NA, so yeah,
AA is great.
NA isn't great either, so
at least funner stories, I suppose.
They're both depressing.
Yeah,
I remember one.
It's all around depressing. Trying to get help is hard, folks. If you need help out there, don't be too sad or too shy to call, suicide hotline or whatever. I don't know. What are the rules these days on that type of stuff?
If you have a crazy story, you can definitely call in and tell us.
Yeah.
We'll talk to you.
We don't have a phone number for you to call in on, but when we do.
If you're thinking about killing yourself, give us a call. We'll talk to you.
We'll talk to you about the drugs you should try beforehand.
Yeah. I'll tell you, like, weird weird places you should go see, other things. You're still recording.
Hold on 1 second, folks. Recording more than 15 minutes.
Just want to do that?
No.
Okay.
All right. Slight technical difficulties. It's a part of a live podcast, folks. Well, it's not live right now, but, well, it will be eventually.
Yes. Right now, we're going to keep talking and use our radio voice.
Radio voice.
We could also...
Welcome to the radio.
Oh, I do know a thing we could talk about too brief. We could talk about...
2 briefs.
Boxer briefs.
2 briefcases walk into a bar.
They're like, hey, we would...
I know, it's hard. How
No, I got one. I got it. They walk in and they could be like, hey, I know you got a couple of cases here, but at least we're not bastard cases.
All right, that's terrible.
I know. I've never had to make a suitcase joke.
How do we do that? 2 briefcases walk into a bar. And the bartender turns around and goes, what the fuck? What are you doing? And it's 2 briefcases walking into a bar, so he grabs a shotgun and just starts unloading shells into them. But they're actually alien mutants, and they're just going to change into aliens. And then they thought that the world was full of walking briefcases. They didn't do their homework.
It's like a Rick and Morty episode. This is Rick and Morty shit.
Walking briefcases everywhere.
I could see Rick and Morty where it's literally a bar of just walking briefcases and they're getting drunk.
Yep.
Shout out Rick and Morty.
We just wrote a premise for Rick and Morty episode that's going to be out in a year.
Yep. Also
listen to our thoughts, people. If you can hear this out there, you're a part of the resistance now. Wear your tinfoil hat.
Don't let them in. But anyways.
Let them in. Just close enough that you can slit their throats.
Or just give them some peanut butter. I don't know.
Yeah, put peanut butter all over your body. See how long it takes them to lick it off.
That's what you use when you have a jar of peanut butter and a lonely dog and, you know. Things happen.
I'm a lonely dog. Ladies, if you're listening, I will lick peanut butter. No.
Shout out canines.
Shout out being a lonely dog.
Yep.
He's a lonely dog. He's a lonely wolf. Wolf.
We could say some. We could talk about Wolf sometime.
Wolf.
Our old neighbor.
He's a weird guy that used to live next to us, and he was gay. But the only reason he was gay was to spite women because, yeah, that's pretty funny. He was gay to spite women because women hadn't been very nice to him. So he would have been like an incel, but he went out into the world and he had relationships with people to spite women. I don't completely understand his thinking.
But real quick, back to the briefcase one. What if we said something about a handle? Like, I got a handle on the situation because they have handles.
Stop trying to make a briefcase joke.
Okay.
It's not going to work.
All right, back to Wolf then.
You sit down and write a good briefcase joke and we'll talk.
Yeah, we talked about Wolf actually back when
Io was a friend of ours. You guys have been introduced to him. Not yet, but I think we have some content on here that maybe we'll release.
He and I did episode 0.
He did negative episode 1. Yeah, that's crazy.
Or episode 0.
No, it's negative episode 1. There is no such thing as 0. 0 doesn't exist.
It does now. Thanks to the Arabic people, it does now. We got 0 from them.
0, 0, 0, 0.
Shout out Arab.
Getting Arab money. We're getting Arab money.
That a song?
Yeah.
Shout out Arabic numbers and math.
Shout out Saudi Arabia for having some of the funniest and coolest hats around. I like those like blanket hats they have. They like have the one strap that holds it to their head.
That's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool.
Yeah.
If you lived in the desert, what would be your go-to fucking attire?
That's a good one if you're in the desert.
Because you need coverage, obviously.
Yeah.
But you need fabric that breathes. Cotton maybe would be too much.
I do like the light straw hat, kind of like you have. Mm-hmm. I have used that before. But if you're swinging a tool around, that's an issue.
Hats get in the way.
Yeah, especially if you're out, like, a lot of time, there have been a lot of jobs like you where I'm swinging it like a sledgehammer or an axe, so I...
Sledgehammer.
Shout out Peter Gabriel's. Anyways. Steam! Yeah.
Pillow made of concrete. Yeah.
Shout out Eddie Vedder. Cool Jam. Nah.
Trevor's losing steam here, folks. We need to steam him up. I'm going to burn him with this cigarette. There he goes.
All right. We could also... You want to hear about what I read today?
Trevor read something, folks. He's blowing my mind every day.
We're reading about the supposed copper mines of King Solomon from the Old Testament of the Bible.
So, in case you folks don't know, King Solomon was a dude. And he existed. And apparently, it was a while ago?
Like 3,000 years ago?
Yeah, it was a while ago. Yeah, see, I was right.
Yeah, the Old Testament's like 4,000 to 3,000 years ago.
So, apparently...
Up until Jesus. But yeah, apparently...
Jesus. Shitty carpenter.
Oh, man. Look, Jesus, I thought you were going to build this boat, man. I need to float on down the river. Well, you can just float on the fact that the Lord is always here for you.
Shine your light, my son, and you will never need the boat. It's like, I live in frickin' New England.
It rains.
It's Boston, man. There's a port here. I need a boat.
Live on an island. Shout out Islanders. Yeah.
Shout out the Lonely Island Boys. I'm an island boy, just being real weird. I'm an island boy.
That's pretty funny.
Weird ass hair. Yeah, kids, don't get face tattoos. You're just looking strange for no reason. I mean, if you're in prison, I kind of get it, but yeah, still, just don't do it. It's stupid. You'll look real retarded when you're 80. So, copper mines.
Yeah.
King Solomon.
So they were
Old Testament.
So they had never found them before. There was always one of those things they were trying to find, one of those mythic things, like
Atlantis.
yeah, like at that because he was
12th wonder of the world.
because King Solomon supposedly was one of the wealthiest kings of the ancient world, and at that time,
you know why he was so rich? Cryptocurrency. No,
I was waiting for the bullshit. Like, what's he gonna say? That's good. Cryptocurrency.
Bitcoin, Dogecoin, and all this crap coin.
Because King Solomon, he was a time cop.
Of course, that's how you got to play the field through time and space.
Yeah.
Got to have your money in different times so that you wake up and you're in the
King
depression.
Solomon is a time
You're
cop.
in the depression and you're selling wheelbarrows. And you want to know why people needed wheelbarrows during the depression?
You had to move a lot of rock
You had
around.
to move a lot of shit.
Yeah.
Because you weren't staying anywhere. You couldn't afford to.
I remember I've seen a lot of pictures in the 30s of just like dudes with scully caps and like tweed jackets and suspenders, and they're just this entire rows of guys just moving wheelbarrows full of bricks and rocks just to job sites, and then because it's not like now we're like
the ore.
yeah, it's like hey, you got to go up 10 flights with these things.
Yep.
Like fuck.
There's got to be a better way to do this. And they're like, yeah, there is, but it costs a lot of money and you're cheap labor, so get to work. Get to work, asshole.
They had basic cranes at that time, but yeah, it was definitely cheap to just hire a bunch of dudes.
Oh, you can't find work? Oh, that sucks. We got a job. Doesn't pay real well. There's no benefits. You're probably going to die, but you might survive to make enough to go to the next town and work there. And it's like, all right.
And if,
that sounds great.
if you do survive, you have some cool stories to tell your grandkids. Okay.
But don't worry, nobody survives.
And if you do, you're just a lucky bastard, and we'll make sure that you're exposed to a chemical that will give you cancer in 40 years.
America!
America! Yeah. Yeah.
So they found King Solomon's mines of copper, or they did not. Let's get to the steak. I'm sick of the potatoes.
All right. Those are good though. So they found the actual mines, and they had, for that time, they used a lot of charcoal and they would smelt it using charcoal.
I wouldn't be using that word around Hank Hill over here. No.
Well, sorry, but people weren't using propane.
Damn it, Bobby! So they found the mines.
They found them, and the big thing they found was they had mined, but they also found a lot of just remnants of like the clay furnaces they had used, and they had also used things like clay nozzles that they use as a billows.
What was the significance of the charcoal?
That's what they used to light the fire to melt the charcoal. I mean, to melt the copper ore.
Ooh.
So they talked about how 3,000 years ago, like, this was, mind you, like the end of the Copper Age.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, there were a few places, but people weren't really using iron too much or steel. It was still
just yet. Yeah.
Yeah, just on the
cusp.
The cusp. I mean, there were probably a few places, but
they hadn't quite had the exposure to it or the mining just yet. Whereas like gold, silver, and copper, through time.
And just a few hundred years before, there had been this thing known as the Great Bronze Age Collapse, where empires like the Phoenicia and a lot of big cities around like Babylon, they got just swept over by this wave of just pirates that came in. And they came into the Mediterranean and just swept through. So like with the Romans, yeah, but it was a whole just wave of like super ancient pirates that came in with bronze weapons and just fucked everything up.
Wow.
I just learned about it. I'd heard a little bit about it, but they never really talk about it because they're still learning a lot about it because it was long ago, and a lot of these people didn't leave a lot of written records, but people wrote about them. But they haven't found a lot of records that they themselves wrote.
The problem is that a lot of times when the ownership changes, let's say ownership changes, a lot of the text and a lot of the information from the previous owners get lost.
Of course.
It's like a new person moving into a home. They usually don't keep the old mail.
It's also the phrase like the winners write the history.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. So yeah.
And that's not always a bad thing, but it does leave a skewed worldview,
Yeah, it's like when you start learning about like World War II from the German or the Japanese perspective. Or like you learn about like World War I from the Turkish perspective. Okay.
Yeah.
Gives you a different view on things.
Speak up a little bit.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think it's always interesting how, if you ever read letters or you ever listen to correspondence between people that were in a war, the variations and the descriptiveness of like what they go through on a day-to-day is pretty vastly different than what the history books may tell you or what a politician may describe to you as what is happening in a place. A lot of the people that are on the front lines are the people that have to deal with the day in and day out, whereas the politicians and the people that are making the calls, the generals and whatnot, are sitting in a base long ways away or on a ship, safe from harm pretty much.
Now, there were a lot of old school conquerors that would actually ride out to battle, but
it's a dying art, man, because they've realized, I think, that an army is a lot more powerful with a general in command than if the general's out there fighting with his men.
Yeah, no, that has changed because it really used to be like a whole honor thing, whereas now it's just, all right, now how do we win?
Yes.
Now
because honor's cool, but dying on the battlefield isn't as cool as it once was.
Like up until, for example, like the Revolutionary War was a war where, the British were used to like, the other army would be like, all right, we won't shoot your other commanders if we see them, and like there were rules of engagement.
Yeah.
There were things they did. There wasn't so much militia shit going on, so.
I think it was a balance between the two. Like, there were definitely rules of engagement on a battlefield.
Yeah.
But if you were a guy traveling with your family to a new place because it's been taken over by British rule or something, and you get caught by British soldiers, they might not fucking care about you or your family or anything. That's what that whole movie The Patriot was about with Mel Gibson. Like, rode up on his house and he was taking care of the soldiers.
Yeah, no, I've seen the movie.
They shot his kid and fucking...
Because he was just helping
he was helping both sides,
yeah.
you know, and that was technically treason.
That was a good movie, though. I really do
Well,
like
it was a pretty good movie. It gave Heath Ledger a start in
I've
big
seen
movies. Yeah, that and 10 Things I Hate About You.
Shout out Heath Ledger.
Shout out Heath Ledger. Rest in peace.
Him is the fucking best Joker ever.
Yeah, definitely best Joker. He died doing the role, man.
Yep.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, he's one of the few actors to win an Oscar after he died.
Who else has won an Oscar after they
The guy
died?
from the movie Network. It's called Network. It was I've seen parts of it. It's from the late 70s.
I wonder if Brandon Lee, the son of Bruce Lee, remember he died on the set of Crow?
I don't think that won an Oscar though.
Yeah, I don't think it did either. That was just a crazy story. Brandon Lee got shot by a blank.
Yeah,
and it happened again with fucking Rust. When are they going to realize, people, that you can't give an actor a gun and expect them to know fucking gun safety?
Yeah.
They're not gun people.
They have to use it sometimes, but yeah, they're not going to be like you or I. Like, I would of course check it immediately.
I wouldn't give a shit if they were like, the scene calls for you to shoot him point blank in the chest.
Like, I'm checking it.
I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
Even if that gun fails and the bullet fucking does what it's supposed to. There's a 50-50 shot that might not happen.
Yeah.
That's not great odds.
Shot, yeah.
Fuck that. You gotta hope that the grain in the bullet is proper. No.
Yeah, as you know,
Unless I watch that shit get pressed in front of me.
as you know, like, if you get hit with anything point blank, it can kill you. I mean, if you throw any object at someone fast enough, you can kill them. If you threw that key at me fast enough, you could kill me.
People die doing dumb shit all the time. People slip and fall in the tub.
Yeah.
You know, so the fact that they're like, no, we need this to be very realistic. I want you to point this in this direction and shoot it at people. I don't know, man.
It's like people... Yeah, they're...
Just make me shoot a fucking wall. You'll just cut it together anyways to make it look like I'm shooting them. Mm-hmm. It's called editing, folks.
Yeah, there's always editors for movies now, so...
Yeah. Speaking of movies, I saw a pretty weird one the other day.
Oh, do the album review thing.
Album review. Yeah.
And then you're going to do the movie thing. We tried that.
Yeah.
I ended up listening to a different album, but it was really good.
Trevor's got this crazy idea. And I mean, he built it in a crazy lab with plutonium and a crazy hot scientist named Betty.
Hey, Monster Mash.
We did the Monster Mash.
As bubbling and shit. And that's
a happy Valentine's Day to you. Coming at you with Monster Mash. And
you from Casey Kasem. Hey.
He's like, you played the wrong track, didn't you? He's like, why are you doing this to me? Yeah, that was from The Simpsons. That's a really funny joke. He's like, oh, you crazy Monster Mashers out there on Valentine's Day. He's like, you played the wrong track, didn't you?
It was like Casey Kasem, like some famous DJ.
The only thing I remember Casey Kasem from was...
He's been in a few things.
Well, he was the star witness in the OJ murder. Or, no, it was Kato Kalin. That's
Kato
his name.
Kalin. No, Casey Kasem was a famous
That's
radio
so
DJ.
weird. They're both weird names. Casey Kasem and Kato Kalin. They should have did some sort of weird name, like, team up.
Yeah.
From the powers of Kato Kalin and Casey Kasem. It's like, who are these superheroes? What powers do they
and
possess?
if they both had seasons...
One of them lies really well and gets his buddy off for murder. The other one, he's a DJ of some sort. I don't know who Casey Kasem is.
If all their names were C's, that'd be C4.
This is what I have to deal with, folks. Trevor just puts these terrible jokes out there sometimes, and he just expects some sort of, Oh, that was great, man. Oh,
You're my
that
testing
was the
ground.
best.
You're my testing ground.
I am not a testing ground.
Yes, you are.
I'm a fucking human.
No.
And I shouldn't be subject to your terrible humor sometimes. This guy has the human fucking capacity for comedy.
I do.
But he chooses to use it like a 3-year-old.
I make people laugh quite often.
He's always telling dick and butt jokes. No. Dick and butt jokes. It's terrible.
And sometimes a horse is involved. Oh!
A horse is a horse, of course. My name is Mr.
Mr.
Ed.
I'm gonna cut you, motherfucker.
Get this N-word away from me. We're not allowed to say it, guys. There's no black people around. But if there was, we'd be saying it left and right, because that's equality. Oh, no.
Words. Anyways.
Just like you can't call a bitch, you can't call a black person the N-word. It's like, what? I don't know if that's the same.
People. I don't know.
People. They be thinking. So back to the movie. Trevor likes to take these weird and wild runs, but I'm going to stick to my guns. The movie was called Ninja Assassin. And it was kind of interesting. It gave me a funny joke concept. It's called Hot Cops. There was basically like some hot cops in this movie. And I just thought it'd be awesome to see a show with them. Kind of like Law and Order, but them getting everything done really easily.
Because
like
they just bend over and...
Yeah, just doing hot cop stuff, you know? So that's kind of what Law and Order SVU was. It was 2 hot cops doing hot cop stuff. But they were dealing with sexual predators and all that crap.
Can you imagine, like, if they had to, like, frisk someone down?
Oh, they did.
Like, oh, I'm going to frisk you
I
down.
can't believe you've never seen Law and Order SVU, man.
I've seen a few episodes of it.
It's worth checking out. There's some fucking weird
Is that the
ones.
one with Ice-T?
Ice-T,
I've seen a few of them.
Yeah.
There's a chick I used to mess around with that would watch that show.
It's a pretty nutty show. I started watching it when I was 15.
I've seen a few of them, but I don't know. Crime shows kind of get repetitive to me.
Yeah, they're always trying to catch a bad guy.
Some Scooby-Doo shit.
Yeah, some Scooby-Doo
Would have
shit.
gone away with chose for meddling kids, you fucking dog.
So the
Shout
hot
out
cops
Scooby-Doo.
are trying to get this guy who's some sort of undercover international ninja from a secret clan. But he's a crazy ninja. He's the greatest ninja of all time. He's like the Donald Trump of ninjas. But his old clan is coming to get him because he went away from his clan because they killed his girlfriend. I'm losing steam on this really fast. It's not a crazy movie. This is what the points of the movie are. This guy is ripped. He looks great. His body is fucking ridiculous. I don't think he had an ounce of fat on him. It was all abs. And then they take him and they cut him.
Damn.
Yeah, they just like slash him the whole movie. They basically just give him wounds, you know? So
It's like the Bruce Lee thing, then the movie is
yeah,
covered in
kinda,
cuts.
Yeah. So the crazy ninja guy is able to fight off a lot of crazy ninjas, but he ends up just cut to shit the whole movie. He does all the cool stuff. He saves the girl type of shit. And then the whole combination at the end of the movie is that he takes out his old master. And his old master is this one-eyed guy who he cut out his other eye. But he beats him up. Ninja Assassin. I had to wrap that up quick, man. I was losing steam. I watched it a couple days ago, but it wasn't that interesting. And there was just a lot of crazy kung fu fight scenes. Because I love kung fu movies. But sometimes the stories lack, you know?
Yeah.
That's the problem with kung fu, man. Sometimes they have the best stories, and then sometimes the stories are just like, this guy's got to fight because he's a fighter. I don't know.
That is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
What? Do you know what year this movie was made? Or
Ninja Assassin, like 2010 or some shit? I don't know.
okay.
Just look it up, Ninja Assassin.
I can do that real quick.
Excuse me, folks. I'm tired, but not too tired to act too wired to get some cocaine. Now, but no more cocaine for you, sir. I remember the last time I did coke. It was with Angelo.
Nice.
You remember that?
Yeah, I know. I did some with you.
That was hilarious.
I did some with you and Angelo.
That was hilarious.
All three of us did cocaine together.
Angelo was like, come on, I brought all this coke up from San Diego. I'm like, so? He's like, I started out with 2 8-balls, and this is all I got left. I'm like, what the fuck?
That's a lot of coke, man.
Yeah, like, what are you doing, man?
Yeah, no, he... Yeah, it was funny doing coke for him because he was way more excited than I was. Like, coke for me is like, I do it and like...
He's excited
right.
for us. He was excited for us. I was just like, all right, now I'm all over.
I remember he specifically asked me, he's like, you've done cocaine, right? I figured you had. I'm like, yes, I've done cocaine. Like, I like it, but it's really overpriced for just like a little bit of excitement.
Cocaine is way too overpriced.
Way too overpriced, man. Like, you know the phrase "rich man's weed." Like, it's called that for a reason.
Rich man's weed.
I've heard that phrase before, man.
That's funny.
That's like an older term, though.
I don't think I've ever heard somebody call cocaine rich man's weed, but I've heard it called a rich person's drug.
Yeah, I've heard it called that too. That makes more sense because weed's usually more of a downer unless you have some crazy sativa you're smoking.
Yeah, I don't think that I'd call it.
I think they just meant a rich person's drug. Is what they meant.
But you could also say that about prescriptions. Mm-hmm. Fucking, that is the best thing to do. If you are prescribed a drug by a doctor. Should we stop
this to make and then keep recording it?
No, let's rock.
All right. Hopefully.
The problem is that we're gonna have to figure these things out. It's gonna take some trial and error. That's why we're doing these episodes now, so that when IO comes to help,
I could actually text him today or call him, see if he can come out this weekend.
Whatever. You're listening to us make plans, folks, because Trevor's off track.
I know. I can also call Silver Squirrel, too, and have him come.
We're back on track.
Back on track.
Back on track. Hot coffee. That's a Dan Soda reference. Hot coffee.
To the face.
Well, no, he like says it when something's really cool.
Hot coffee. Yeah. Instead of cool beans, he says hot coffee.
Hot coffee.
I like that.
It is pretty cool. I like it, too.
What?
Shout out Dan Soder, one half of the greatest fucking podcast ever, or radio show ever. And it's a podcast. It's also a podcast. It's both.
Bonfire.
The Bonfire.
I learned about it from Chris.
Shout out DJ Lou. Shout out Black Lou. Shout out Christine Evans. I have this crazy running theory that Christine is my long lost cousin. My name's Chris Evans and hers is Christine Evans.
Evans is a super common last name.
You don't know that. I'm such an individual.
I've known a few people with the last name Evans.
Folks, don't worry. You're not an individual. You're not a shining star in the cosmos.
You're
a piece of fungus on the ass of the earth.
No matter who you are. Shut out.
Trevor's motivational speaker over here.
Yep. I was just inspired. I just got Earth, Wind, and Fire in my head. Shout out.
Hot coffee, Earth, Wind, and Fire is amazing.
Hell yeah, that band is good. Shout out Motown and funk music. But yeah.
Shout out Grand Funk Railroad.
Yep.
Shout out Chicago.
We're doing funk, like shout out Rick James, shout out James Brown.
Give it to me, babe. James Brown was a funny dude.
Fucking shout out Parliament. We got the funk. All that.
Shout out the police. We'll always be watching you.
Creepy. But yeah, hilarious. It's not funk though.
I think that'd be a really
That's
great
new
joke.
Age, but yeah.
I think this would be a great joke. But I don't know how to phrase it, basically. But you kidnap a person, okay?
See, that's why I like being testy ground for jokes.
Yeah.
I get to hear some weird shit.
But it's not great all the time. You gotta pick and choose your punches, man.
Yours, too. You've told me some that haven't landed, Chris.
So. Oh, of course. But not as frequently as you.
I don't know about that.
I think so.
I don't.
We're gonna have to keep a joke counter in this motherfucker.
We are.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just nicer than you are. Who knows?
No, Trevor, you are not nicer than I am. I'm the nicest. Now,
Trevor's
a piece of shit. I'm the greatest. I'm the greatest.
His wife is a
guys,
dog.
Here's my flaw. Deep down, I don't think I'm the greatest. No.
He gets shot and he still points to the guy. You're gay.
You're gay. Sit down. Shane Gillis had that great joke where he just like Donald Trump would have been the funniest person.
To get shot? No, I've heard it. It's
so
funny.
He's like, he'd make some weird sound. He'd be like, ugh! They fall over.
He is pretty funny as Trump. Like, he does a good job. He is a funny motherfucker.
If you guys haven't checked out Gillian Keeves, it's a sketch comedy show that was made with Brian McKeevers and Shane Gillis.
It almost seems like it's a counterpart to, like...
Oh, God. I forget her name. Damn it. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. Some random chick out there.
No, she's a cool chick. She's on... Fuck. She's Brian McKeever's wife.
Okay. Mrs. McKeever. There you go.
Gillian Keeves. No, maybe I'm saying the name wrong. Keeves is... I don't know, man. I'm stoned. Stoner Problems. Stoner Problems Volume 1, folks. No, it's not an airplane crash. It's a detour that wasn't expected.
Oh, what? 3-hour tour.
You guys ever seen Fiji? We're not stopping. We're just flying by.
I like to eat, and I mean eat people in Fiji, so we're going to keep going, folks.
I like to eat pussy in Fiji. So we're going to keep going, folks.
They eat more than the pussy. They eat the arms, the legs, the stomach, the ears. Shout out Pacific Islanders and people out there. Shout out cannibalism.
All right, cannibalism. What's up? So, here's our next topic. If you could eat a person, would you?
I got cannibal jokes too, so we can do this.
If you could eat a person, would you?
How sober am I?
Sober as you want to be. Say you had unlimited alcohol, would you still eat them?
I would taste it.
I'd eat a person. Wouldn't give a shit. People are just another animal.
Yeah. Supposedly you can get sick from it, but not
You
a lot
can
of...
get very sick from it.
Yeah.
It ends up happening, and it happens to a lot of animals. That's where mad cow disease came from.
When they eat their own kind.
There is a worm. There's a worm bacteria. There's a lot of biological issues with you eating the same species.
Yep.
But certain animals have adapted their stomachs and their bodies to being able to eat anything almost. But if you eat enough humans, you could possibly just go insane. You get tremors and shakes and shit. So there's been a lot of studies through time on people that have cannibalized other people, and there is a deficiency in them. And this is brought to you by Cannibal Corpse. I got no neck. I got long hair but no neck. It's a real problem.
If that's the right shit, Dad. No.
So, Trevor, let's hear your review of your album. Trevor listened to an album this past couple days, folks, and he wanted to give you a musical review on it.
Actually,
and I thought that was awesome.
Actually, it was Wednesday when you walked in on me when I was getting ready to head off.
And by walk in on him, he means he was ready to get off to his game. He plays D&D sometimes. So you're supposed to be doing
a review.
A review.
I just started like.
Trevor goes, "Let's play an album," because we got 12 minutes left, and he's like, "I got a whole album here."
I'm just gonna play a few seconds.
No, don't play any time. We don't have the time. Tell the people what to check out.
So My Useless Life is the name of the band, and
the name of the band is
My Useless Life. That's the name of the band.
Okay.
They're from my hometown of Sacramento, California.
Sacktown.
No shout out.
Drag your sack across my town.
Ball Sacramento. Anyways, they're a black metal band, and which is a type of metal for people that don't know.
Trevor is very into heavy metal. He likes a lot of really hardcore stuff, and I find it to be pretty dope sometimes. Sometimes I get a little annoyed by it because he doesn't play a lot of other things.
I don't know about that. I play a lot of other things.
Yeah, he kind of sticks to his guns and what he knows, but he's always bringing some crazy metal my way, that's for sure. So what about this album, Trevor? What was so good about it?
Well, it's called On the Edge.
The album's called On the Edge.
And the album is 37 minutes and 6 seconds. And it's good because it's called atmospheric. It's a type of like atmospheric metal where it it just kind of it's just trying to like set a mood. So it's kind of plays sort of ambient music and a lot of minor keys. So it's just kind of like mood music, where it doesn't have as many like crazy solos or like specific choruses. There's just background like growling and just kind of like droning guitar riffs.
Okay. Was there a favorite track or a favorite song
Yes.
that you had?
Yeah. The song, if you don't want to listen to the song to get you introduced to him is I Should Have Never Been Born.
Okay. I Should Have Never Been Born?
Yeah.
All right.
And it's about 5 minutes.
So, how long has this group been around?
A few years. I don't know exactly. They've been around for a few years. I know they've gotten a lot of popularity recently. It looks like they've been around for at least 10 years.
Okay.
I didn't know about them when I lived in Sacramento, but I left Sacramento like 10 years ago. So
what made you look them up?
I had a friend. From a past job that he liked a lot of black metal, and he actually introduced me to a lot of bands.
Very cool.
So I learned a lot from this guy. He didn't play guitar, but he listened to a crazy amount of metal. So I learned a lot of music from him.
I think some of the best music I've ever been introduced to has been through friends or coworkers.
Yeah.
Something about the people that you work with or the people that you are close to,
Or both.
or both in general, because you spend a lot of time at work and you spend a lot of time at home usually. You know, your friends and your coworkers become your friends. But sometimes, yeah, it depends on the situation. But I've been introduced to so much good music on the West Coast and a lot of bad music, but I've been introduced to a lot of good music on the West Coast. So if anything I know about the Northwest, there's a ton of people out here that know a ton of music. That's a real thing. I think in certain areas of the country, there's just specific kinds of music. The weird part about the Northwest is it has so many transplants that everybody brings their own musical spin.
Oregon's actually one of the fastest populations growing by state right now. A lot of people.
Oh, I believe it.
Oregon
was dope 5 years ago, and it's still dope now. But the problem is that the state is changing.
Because so many transplants are moving in
to a different thing.
And I definitely noticed that a lot of the locals, like where I work at now, and a lot of other jobs, they're usually jobs that are blue collar jobs. They're usually filled in mainly people that are locals. Like these are people like they've lived in Eugene, their grandparents did. So yeah, they've told me how it's been changing, where all of a sudden you have a lot of guys like us came in for a better life from out of state.
Of course.
And you know, you have all these other people coming in. It definitely changes things, changes the culture, literally.
Well, that's the problem with a lot of other states, is that you have this giant population that ends up driving some people away. You know, when you spend so much time fighting traffic and fighting for a job,
also violence,
fighting people, you know, I think it wears on the psyche in general. That's why a lot of people move away from bigger cities to go to suburbs or woodland areas and country areas.
In our case, leaving from states with a lot of people and a lot of problems.
Well, I didn't have as many problems in Florida. I had an issue with the state's minimum wage, which I still have an issue with. Florida had one of the lowest minimum wages for the longest time.
Which is fucked up.
And it wasn't until just recently they really started to move it up a little bit. When I was first hired on to do my very first job, I was getting paid $5 an hour. You know, which in retrospect is ridiculous.
That is low.
You know, because you'd have to work an 8-hour shift to make $40.
But the cost of living has gone up quite a bit.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy how fast the cost of things have changed in our lifetime.
Well, it's gentrification in the same sense. It's like when we grew up and where we grew up, it was already happening, but we didn't realize it because we lived in larger cities. So it was just spots that it was happening.
We were also young, too. Like, we were young.
Yeah, you probably didn't pay as much attention to real estate and things of that nature.
And, like, you have lived in big cities. I've also lived way out in the wilderness too, and I've lived in between. So it's.
I've never lived in the wilderness really. I've lived far-ish out of town, but not far enough to say I'm 50 minutes from anything.
Yeah, no. The 5 months I did the backcountry trails, I was literally in the wilderness for 5 months. I didn't see a toilet for 5 months.
There's a lot of unincorporated areas in America.
Yeah. Even Northern California had a lot of rural areas. Shout out Humboldt County and
What's
Trinity
up,
County
Humboldt?
and Del Norte County and the Emerald Triangle.
Marijuana.
707. But anyways, yeah, there are a lot of unincorporated areas, and I definitely noticed people that traditionally lived in areas that are rural. They definitely tend to be more conservative, and they definitely tend to be more, willing to just stay in an area because it's smaller. They know all their neighbors. They're friends with everybody.
I think it's the problem is that most people would love to settle down, own, a small property.
Yeah. Have a house with a yard that you can do whatever you want in it.
Exactly. Like everybody wants pretty much the same thing, and we have the ability to get it.
Just a distribution.
But I think it's more financially profitable if they have some people with mega houses, some people with no houses, and then a lot of people in the middle fighting for the homes.
Yep.
Hey, that's the weird thing is that the middle class is completely gone, man. There is no more middle class. There's just broke people, and then there's people that are doing better than the broke people.
Yeah, there's people on the streets, and then right now you and I are just above that.
Yep.
We
talked about that. We talked about tiers of income.
Working poor is the technical term.
Yeah.
And then above us would be middle class. And then you'd have.
That's my whole argument, man. Is that the middle class doesn't really exist because to be middle class in the '90s, you had to have made around 60 to 70 K a year or something like that. Like that was reasonably middle class, and that's not that far out there because the cost of living was a lot lower. Yeah. But now the cost of living is way higher. The price of gasoline is way higher. The price of most things are a lot higher.
Everything.
And
I don't think there's
people are literally making around the same for most jobs. Minimum wage has barely changed in a few years.
Yeah.
It is going in a better direction, but it's just not going as fast. It's going to take a generation or two before they figure out that a baseline income for most people would be the route to go. You give everybody $45K a year. That's the baseline income to do most jobs.
Right now, but it might change.
Right now, if you're making minimum wage working a full-time job, you're not making more than $30K a year.
Yeah.
Which is
around
technically below the poverty line. I think you got to make 40.
Well, the poverty line used to be 27,000.
Something like that.
I think that's outdated now, but
I don't know, dude. It's weird because it's like under 50. If you don't make like $50,000 a year, you're pretty poor. You're not living great.
Yeah, I've never made 50K, so like you, I've never made that much. So
no, and that's the crazy part is that if you started everybody, all the low class workers at that, it would bankrupt the economy, and then everybody would get what they want, but there'd be no jobs. So it's a weird dance,
Yeah. And also just on the whole thing too of everyone not able to work or willing to work too.
Well, that's why you pay your taxes.
Yeah.
And if the government has an issue with us paying taxes, they always raise them.
Oh yeah.
When's the last time you heard about taxes getting lowered?
There's a huge economic theory about, and of course it's written by rich people, about not lowering the taxes on the working class because there's more of them, even though there are we outbreed the rich, we outwork the rich, but we die at younger ages. Yeah.
So they're able to reap the benefits of our work for a lot longer, and then have their generation of people that'll eventually come into their money, and then by the time that generation is coming into that money, we're dead.
Yeah.
So that's the fucked up part is that by the time we're able to do anything, we're gonna be dead. So, live life like you got no tomorrow, folks. Go out, punch a cop, spend a night in jail, see how it feels. Please don't go punching a cop. We're not advocating police violence. Don't go out punching policemen or women or anything in between. Whatever police want to be called these days.
If you do, that's all on you.
All right, Trevor, that wasn't even hard, was it?
No,
it was an hour.
Yeah.
He was complaining about the run time, folks. I think an hour's perfect. All right, guys, that's been Two Lonely Boys in a Canoe podcast with Chris Evans, a.k.a. Gravel Shits.
And Gorgeous George, a.k.a. Trevor Alstrom.
Well, it would have been a.k.a. the other way, but yeah, all right.
So.
All right, guys, we'll see you next time. Thanks.
Out.
Well, I guess we won't see him.